One day I'm gonna master your talking. Not much better. Okay. Yeah, echo is gonna be a problem. Because space is echoey. There's little furniture in here. But let's see that bumping up. Alright, hopefully that gave it a boost. Let's say give it a boost. Try again. There we go. Maybe that'll boost on that. It looks like I'm doing much now. It's still quiet. What the heck? I worry sometimes that I'm just quiet, honestly. Alright. I'm bumping up both my microphone and my audio input capture. Yeah, technology is technology's a jerk. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the problem with echoey is just space itself. Because if I talk with any sort of volume, the room echoes since there's no observer. Don't know how to fix that. Yeah, because my roommate just moved out and she had the living room furniture whereas I have the kitchen stuff. So now the common area is pretty empty except the kitchen is very low. I'm going to spend some time today doing it, but in the next week I might try to move some more stuff out here just to absorb the sound better. Let me see if I can get my volume up just a little higher. Make sure that I am audible. That should give a boost. Hey CJ, how's it going? Alright. What else is Edith Finch? Is it quick explanation? I am a little echoey. Unfortunately, the space is pretty empty because the roommate moved out this week. She moved to a different city. And she had all the living room stuff. I had all the kitchen stuff. And yeah, we're a little sparse. Julie was disconnected because it's been sitting too slow. Oh, no it hasn't. I just need to. We're in the game already. I'm setting. Oh, there we go. Options. I hope. I think this is a new game. I don't think I've got any save data. I think that's the very beginning. Just in case. I'll have some recording music. Yep, that's great. Oh, there we go. Okay. We just close it. Yep, thank you. I know I was to the side. Alright. Side.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
That was quiet. Okay.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
I totally don't know anything about my mail being like that at all. I would never, ever have.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know, or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
I definitely go the right way out. Okay. Nope.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Hang on, I'm going back. Wait,
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
you could just write to the house. Like, hey, can you answer your questions for me? Just a couple. That's led me off the path, but also since it's kind of dark, I don't know where the path is exactly, so I'm not sure. Covered anything. Might do some circling. Just so.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent, as if they're about to say something but never do.
Maybe there. I don't even know how to say the word. Yawns? Yeah, wild vents. I wonder if this was the wheelbarrow used for hiding bodies. It's pretty. Even though we left the frogs behind. Oh! This is what the house anyway. I'm not seeing any frogs, I'm not seeing any turtles. That's it, it's my man. You got a pond, you gotta have frogs and turtles. Those are the rules. Okay. Looks like that was path I skipped. Hang on. Don't mind me. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the vibe. It's a sad, creepy. Oh. Turtles and no frogs, but here. Look at a hack credit for it. Yeah, I do like how the captions are integrated in the design. Okay, that was the tree we saw earlier. Okay. So in theory, we have this. Still might have missed things, but you know. I guess there's something that remains of. What was thinking was seeing the part is that there's nowhere to dribble. But I guess there's some old pavements a long, long time ago. Here.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
That looks like a fountain. Oh my gosh. It's like a dragon. No. Nope, let me go to the dragon. Yes, this is actually how I die in all of these. I do have this. Ah! Can't go over there. No! That's just rude.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
Yeah. That does seem like an odd joke. All the same. I wish you were closer. I wish I could look at it. Farewell, dragon. Also, I hear frogs. I still see any frogs.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Well, maybe it's the way one day gravity is going to win, and that structure is going to lose. I feel like you put words in that.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
It's gonna fall.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother.
Wait, I wonder if I was supposed to do that.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Doggy door. My bad.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
I mean, that makes sense. Was that night 7 years ago when all the urgent things started piling up? Yeah, you left a lot of good books here. Look at all of those cookbooks. You just left them. I can almost read that. Not quite. This is where you upgrade your weaponry, right? No, I know it's not a game. That's pretty. I don't know what it is. It looks almost like a headboard sword? No. I don't know. It's very pretty though. I was kind of hoping for an option to like dramatically pull the tarp off.
For the first time in years,
What? You were there?
I felt like I was home.
Oh wow. Okay, so I wonder if we should have gone. The problem with the way I like to game is I like to go the wrong way first and then the right way. But it looks like I accidentally went the right
But
way.
instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Also, I have to judge. How do you leave? Okay, I guess they're clean at least. No, they're not. I mean, if they're in the sink, they're not clean. So if it's been... Wait, no. Edith Finch was still living there. So it's not like they ditched the place and left it. Those are a bunch of copies. That's 3 copies of the Northwest Chef, and then 2 copies of that foul book. She needs to branch out. Oh, and there's another cosmic cuisine, and another places of Japanese cooking. Yeah. And there's the book of mushrooms we saw earlier. Flour, salt, water, yeast. I guess maybe there were 3 copies. Maybe she had a cookbook writer in the family, and she just wanted to support them, so she bought 50 copies of every single book. When my books come out, I would like you guys to do the same thing.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Alright, that was a cat door. It wasn't a doggy door. What the heck? Oh my gosh. How much sand we get? That... Okay. I have some problems with craft supplies. I buy a lot of things for making jewelry and it stacks up sometimes. Like, you wouldn't believe the amount of colors of glitter I have. But this is ridiculous. That, you cannot eat that much salmon. You would become salmon. Well, hey, it looks like there's some variety here at least. Witch's kitchen, that's cool. Vanilla. Oh, Viking's belly. Oh, but there's the raw fowl book again. Wait, raw fowl? Raw vegetables is one thing. Raw fowl is, well, fowl.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Wait, so they did leave years ago. They did leave everything all out. I'm sorry. How is it not covered in mold and disgusting not parasites, disgusting fungus stuff? This should be the site of the Last of Us outbreak, honestly.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
The fact that the wheelchair and the oxygen are just sitting there, I don't even... Well, we'll see. I can try that more, but that just seems weird. It seems off. Yeah, there was definitely a cookbook writer in the family, and she bought 50 gazillion copies. So she can't eat copies.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
How many teeth is too many? Kevin! Just open it. They're just really clean. Really clean despite everything. Can't see the chair. She has so many copies of these books that they're doubling as furniture.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Sometimes it sinks. They sink in the swamp and they rebuild on top of it, and sink in the swamp again and they rebuild on top of it, and repeat a few times. Also, I realize I have no room to talk about using versus furniture since I'm using a few books to get my laptop at the height it is. But you know, this one was a homeowner. She could have done better. The Book of Sand. I mean, I'm glad it's sand colored at least. House of Leaves. Oh. Swedish mocktails. Welcome. Oh wow. I want that. I want a room like this. Where you need a ladder to the shelves and you can slide around. So many books. Maybe not the fireplace, it looks like it also is about to collapse. That, oh, that's bad. Let's go to the basement.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Yeah. I guess let's not go to the basement. Let's go jump up.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
really into Bigfoot, because that really seems like an odd music box to build for your, I don't know, daughter, niece. This is dark and I can't see. Alright, that's the kitchen. These are...
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Okay, also I guess we definitely weren't supposed to have him under.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Like a box full of corks. I mean, I have no idea what that is. It looked like packing peanuts. Oh, that was the thing on the cabinet's table, or the carpenter's table. I guess we can go eat. Oh,
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
well, maybe let's not go in there. Maybe that's why it looks like it's been sealed. Yeah, no, they don't. The ceiling, the caulking, or the foam, whatever that is, that keeps ghosts in. That room is filled wall to wall with ghosts. I wonder if they tried that at the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, the more you know. This is tips for if you're ever a ghost hunter.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Well, then where did you sleep?
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
What? Did you sleep on books? Because it looks like that's the only thing that you can get to if your rooms are also... Oh. Well, this one's sealed. The ghosts want me to go in there. I'll be back. Wait, that's a people? Molly.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
I mean, you could always go to the library and still be her friend. Yeah, that sure is sealed.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Surely not literally. Let's move on.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
The bathroom has a peephole. The bathroom has a nameplate even. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a normal house. Okay, so here, this is where I would have lived. Oh no, I guess that's a staircase and not like a book nook. But that's right there. That is a book bench. That's where you put cushions on and you rest in the sunlight and read. You don't stick books on it. Unless you have 50 bazillion copies of the exact same book. Oh, there's something right here. The memories. Time with the gods. Alright, let's check out this dead person's place.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Can you be a star for only 2 years? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's
Whenever
why.
people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Okay. So he made a music box of her very short success.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Alright guys, let's go into the room the ghost was. Oh. Well, that's a Ferris wheel right there.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Odin?
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's a shark. Alright, let's go die. Let's go be eaten by sharks.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Did he play with you? Back? Well, dead?
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Yeah, I mean, if your kid is hanging out with ghosts, oh, it's a whale shark. Whale sharks are like that's the one big thing on my bucket list. I want to see a whale shark. Like, I know it's basically impossible, but I want to see one in person. Just, they're so massive. I can't even wrap my head around how massive they are. Look. Oh, whales. Okay, I like this room better now. I mean, obviously it is definitely haunted, but it's got a whale shark. And, so what, did the train sink to the bottom of the ocean? And
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
I mean, it's right there, you don't believe him.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
You played in there, and you never...
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Okay. How would that have not been obvious to, like, a 2-year-old? She sounded like she was older than 2 when I left.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Paintings or the...
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Because, like, it says Milton right there. Oh, this is cool.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Well, yeah, you hadn't opened it.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Probably to other parts of the house. Just in case. I like how she put a creepy owl thing over the people, because peoples are creepy. Oh.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Boil then. Let's
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
So her uncle had no furniture, but Molly has a whole bunch of furniture that was in a locked room. Like whatever. That's family's weird. there's a shrine to her. That's not real. I do like the little house there, though. That's cool. It reminds me of the one Mist World. With the flapping pancake mushrooms. I say, knowing that probably makes no sense to anyone who has not played Uru. That one I know real too. Anyway.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oh, please tell me she... No, surely she didn't eat her hamster. Okay.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Oh, what about the gerbil? The poor gerbil would be hungry.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
I thought I'd played this game before, Judy, but so much of it's unfamiliar that I'm thinking maybe I only watched a Let's Play in the background and only had glimpses of it, because I am seeing nothing. Oh, that was a fish tank. Because yeah, nothing is sparking memories. I don't know anything about this part. Other than, I got sent to bed without dinner a few times. And I'm gonna just say that I think that's pretty abusive, actually. Oh yeah, we're childlike. We're tiny.
I kept eating and eating.
Oh, we're very tiny. Oh boy.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Yeah, that's poisonous.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Yeah, I guess when you eat a lot of things, that... Jump.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
I mean, you've also got you with Bella, and yeah, that doesn't help. Oh yeah, it's very beautiful, but definitely already into the sadness. Also, if everyone's in bed, why they leave the fire on? Like, that's just not smart. Okay, at least they took care of better cleaning.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her.
Maybe this is exactly what you want to hear. Don't want to try this.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
Whoops. I don't know where I am. I'm assuming I need to go that way? Miss. I have lost the bird. Oh, there we are.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark. I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals.
I saw one. I'm not gonna beat the shark, guys. Sorry. No loss to seal. Well, I figure out. Hey, anyone see a seal? I was supposed to eat it in the house. And, all kelp kind of looks alike. I don't want to be like, hey, do we pass this touch of kelp before? Well, we probably have. Because I'm not a good shark. Yeah, I see a seal now, but I see a ship. I want to check out the ship. Okay. Okay, right, seal. There was one. Saw it again. I went this way, right? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
I tore off her flipper, and
Oh.
it tasted really good.
This is very sad. I don't even know where there's more. Oh. Oh no. I don't like this version.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Am I an octopus or am I a giant? I'm an octopus. Giant octopus.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna eat people next. That's really what I want to do when I love this morning. Not to worry about it. you buddy. I don't know what it is. But, I'm trying to... Oh, it was beautiful. We know that might not be.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Did it? Seriously? Oh, wait, no. That was what I just found, right? I have no idea. I'm lost. Alright, this is new, right? Oh, it's gonna be like chemical, right? Backwards. I am going backwards, okay. I sure did go backwards. Okay, cool. My bad. Maybe, I don't know. There we go.
I got closer and closer.
Alright. Oh no. Is she gonna eat her journal? Oh no.
All of my stomach started growling.
Please.
And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be too delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Died at 10 years old. Okay.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Oh my gosh. That's not really creepy at all. Shrine sketches. I want to open that book.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
I mean, yeah, that would bring interesting people to the neighborhood.
I hadn't thought of
Yes,
myself as
until
Edith
kids.
Jr. for a long, long time.
Conspiracy now? Conspiracy news. Oh boy. Random joke.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Probably one reasons, but... Oh wow.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Wow. She kept that. So...
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
First of all, he sailed a house from Norway to Washington? Like, there's a bit of landmass in the way in either direction. Just a wee bit. Did he go, like, from Norway all the way down through the canal, all the way back? This guy was not gifted with critical thinking skills. Let's just
Odin's
say that.
daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Oh wow, he died even before Molly? Holy cow.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Well, I mean, you could say that, like, everyone dies. So it's not terribly odd for, you know, family trees to be filled with that, but yeah, you guys do have some things. So. All the same, like, if this house, well, no. Let's say if this house is available, I'll take it, but also, no, it's going to cost.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
And also the library is haunted. And all that's haunted. Plus carpet in the backyard. That is...
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah, I'd say. Seriously, this is good.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
I mean, at this point, why don't you just put, like, neon signage saying, secret passage here.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
So you take multiple of the same picture? And develop multiple of the same picture? This kind of has issues with repetition, I guess. Couple turns led into a negative meeting. Oh, this is it. Wow. So half of this his room was turned into like a time capsule of his dead twin or brother.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Gosh.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Oh, this is
At Barbara's funeral, We swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Oh, cool.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
Maybe if she had been serving mushrooms.
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
This is the reason why you should never eat mushrooms.
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
I'm trying to do this, but I cannot watch this game because it's running on new scene. So I'm watching out of the corner of my eye, trying to keep things like that because probably. There we go.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think most kids try to do that same thing. Hang on, I'm moving the chats really quick to try to see more. The other one, okay. So, he was born after Molly died. He never even knew Molly. Am I reading that right? Like 1947. Yeah. Wow. Alright. Yeah. So that's
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
I made Sam live with the other half. Whew. That's not traumatizing.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
I mean, no. Why would he? Holy cow. See, that's how you do a secret passage door. You don't put a book that says, this room is a secret. You read. Go up.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Oh, wait, I don't want to go out yet. Hang on. No, I want to see the angry pumpkin. Oh, a headless doll. Maybe I don't want to. Oh.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Once in a while. Bye, Judy. Thank you for joining me. appreciate having you here. And also thank you to all lurkers who are just hanging out. I appreciate you being with me. This is definitely a very interesting game. Just imagine, like I know she died young as well, but you had one success in one movie, and that's what everyone thought about. Oh, small thing, there's that. Unless she was just a fan. It wasn't in it. Her whole life defined by that. Oh, no, she was ballerina. Okay. She's dead there, Huxley's. She's got at least 2 copies of Poetics. I mean, it's an important book for her. Stage, but you don't need to.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Yeah. Oh. That's living there for like 50 years. Okay, this is one that I see a little bit
Of
of.
all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh boy. Alright.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Is this one in the Canning Factory that somewhat that I'm remembering? I think that's what I saw. Oh gosh, I'm scared.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Ah, that's where her father got her. That's cool. I'm glad about loan this because, ooh, yeah. Like that thing was, or the previous one was sad, but this one.
The fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh, that's where her weapon is, isn't it? Like, I only really.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Oops.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb,
Well,
have you seen my other crutch?
Neither
And
of
she
those
was
things.
still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Oh, I mean, considering your family history, I would never say things like that to your siblings. Anything. Let's get the skeleton. I'm not gonna look at him. Oh, I can't. Let's go upstairs. Yep, I'm creeped out. I'm creeped out. I don't know which way to walk this room. Because, oh, well, that's a walk, so I guess it's... Oh yeah, right. Wheel cars and wheels.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the Hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Yeah, there's.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
Oh, what the heck is Walter? How do I... That's what I meant, right?
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Well, yeah. That's fun.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Yep. Yep.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story.
Yes, you would.
As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Cool.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
If you get a happy ending from that, well, that was something. I guess back we go.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Yeah, there had been an ear in it. But now I know how to get the key. So I guess we can write this still locked, right? Yep. It's Barbara. That was the twins. We only have one of the beds so far. That was Sven and Edie.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Generally, you don't override a music box. That was Molly's turn, right? Yeah. That was Mother's turn. Alright, let's go. Let's head into the basement. Fun times. Can we hit the light switch? Alright, we don't have power. Alright. Down into the dark basement with no power. Well, that's not super dark. One of my sisters bought a house. There was a pool table that came with it just because people didn't want to poop it or deal with it. And she still doesn't know what to do with it.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
I mean, maybe you just want tetanus shots. Maybe you like collecting them. Oh, that's the model for the dragon slide. Man, the dragon slide would be such a cool idea. That's like he slid out of his mouth. That's like, I can't blame Sven. That was nifty. Why does he have, like, he has a wood setup in here and then also in the garage? Ah, this is where he got hurt, and then his daughter died.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Did you? And then what? I can't see anything. There we go.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Was she hiding presents, or was she hiding, like, macabre souvenirs of every wood in
It
the
turned
life
out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oh, what? What? Yeah, I'm trying to turn around. Wow. Okay. I guess now we go underground.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
Sadness of working.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Oh, I guess we'd love to. You know, I'll leave the story shortly. The train. Of course. Let's get that train ride. Painting, it's all artificial. Oh, man. He made his own little artificial world now. For 53 years.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
I don't know if you stayed sane.
Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Can we actually? We seem to be stuck. Yeah. Oh. Oh, of course there's a hatch. Okay, I'm pausing for the epic. Sorry, what did you miss, Jetta? What was the last thing you saw that you... Sorry, because I've got the two chests up, I can't see when my ads are coming. But I'm trying to make sure that people who don't have, Last thing you saw... We're pausing because a couple people have ads. So, very briefly, don't want to go too much further. Getting a drink really quick. Oh, I didn't even see the captions reflecting across the clock. It does not look good detail. I mean, obviously it's too late to go see it now, but... Yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail going on. It's, except for, you know, unless maybe there's a story reason for having all these samples. I'm waiting to find out. Okay, Walter was about to leave the room. So he got up and I looked around and I couldn't go back out the door that I came in, but there was a hatch on the ground with writing. And I've gone down through that hatch and down the ladder, that's all. Yes, since I have two chats up, the Twitch chat and the Discord chat, that means I don't have any sort of idea when my ads are gonna happen.
I know it's out there, somewhere.
You're welcome. Can't watch that many things.
Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin.
Well, I mean, Molly died because she was married and ate nightshade or mistletoe.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
The rumbling was trained. Was trained and it didn't pass this week.
whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
This is so hard. It's kind of like this for me.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Another mild.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
See, I've heard that before, but I find comfort in the thought that the people are never fully gone. As long as someone remains, it matters to me. So I think this is, like, this sort of a journey is important.
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
And that too, like every person you lost adds to your story as well. They had an impact on you. This looks even more precarious with the single.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
lost on one Orcas Island in Washington.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Well, I mean, it's their story, so you'd believe your story. I feel like this game took a solid amount of inspiration from this, actually. Like, this is ringing bells from, which one was it? Was it Ribbon? Ribbon with the 5 discs and all the dog on the water. Like, there are things about it that visually are giving me missed vibes. Just the setup stuff, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, that was Ribbon. That wasn't Exile. What was it? Exile? That was Ribbon. New in there. I forgot to hit record my stream, so I'm gonna have to see the Twitch video.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Something about imagination.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
It also doesn't seem like they're used to death so much. It seems like they're re-traumatized with each one, which makes sense, because, like, it's death. You don't really get used to it.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Actually, the only ones in here, well, these are the ones that we've heard about so far, which means these ones.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
It's not the house. The house sank. Well, no, what? Never. Okay, yeah, we didn't see what we needed to see apparently if we didn't. We're still. Nope, I hit the wrong button. Trying to. Nope. What do I need to do here? Oh, there
Edie
we
said she dreamed about the old house every night.
go. Wow. Here we go, I guess. It is 80.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
It feels like I've had every generation to just one.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
This isn't really wise. It's sort of the state of disrespect.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh. Yeah, that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Why would you go to the middle of nowhere when you're 22 weeks pregnant? Like, at that point in time, you kind of need to.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Yeah, Vera facing you feels pretty intense. Oh, it's very complicated. true. 17-year-olds are not always the smartest.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit.
Oh, you finished.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Let's go to the park known for in memory of our dead ancestors. We live with death constantly because we've lost like everything. This is the conscience. Also, this guy's actually super rich.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Oh, we gotta find him first. Oh.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
I'm not sure. That's...
Great shot, Dawn!
Wow.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh, boy.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
He was only like 33, right? Like, according to the dates, and he looks so, yeah. Gosh, he looks so old for 33.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Considering how he had to share a room with his dead twin, can you blame him? feel like he, especially, his issues are him and Walter both have very clear reasons why they would be traumatized and need help they just didn't get.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Did you think about therapy? Like, just wondering. Oh, man. Oops. Yeah, it's very heavy.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
We have a froggy now, finally. Ma survived a little bit, and that's why her bath's empty. Gosh, what are the dates on
I can't
here?
imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
1969 to 1982. What are your dates? I can't make them out. But it sounds like probably the guy who's traumatized, sharing a room that had also been his dead twins, that was turned partially into a shrine, did that to his kids as well. 1976, 1976, thank you. 76. Yep, sure did. So you know your baby brother? He's, oh gosh. And Robin, what you missed, I didn't have much control over it. He went underwater and there was a giant whale. His name was in letters, giant letters in kelp. And we went toward the whale, which was connected to a chain, and then we went down the drain. The letter basically said it wasn't his fault, and he hopes that she's finding peace.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
I mean, his mom left them. Their brother. Like, and he was stuck sharing a room with his brother. So, you know.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh, Dawn was her
Make
mother.
them cry.
Oh, so her mother shared a room.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. Thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
She lost all her kids so young. It's not Darwin's Edith Finch. Darwin's whole family. I mean, obviously, rule number 2 comes from Barbara's death. Control his environment.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Yeah.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
She found her little brother's corpse after her little brother died. Gosh. Alright, where do we go from here? Oh. What else? Is there an exit else here? This was the annex. There should be the secret passageway. Books. Keep there. Maybe we go back out there. It did seem close. Let's check out there one more time in case. But like it did direct us back down, so I don't know. I wonder what all achievements I've missed if I wound up beating Gregory this far in the game. Oh, that's what I missed.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. and to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Or they could have stopped having a million shrines to people and, redecorated rooms. That would have been a possibility.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Despite the fact that you had an uncle living in the basement that you never knew about. And the house was a shrine to the dead.
But it didn't last.
Well, no. No, when everything is dedicated to loss and dwelling on loss, it can't last.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
I didn't really look around. I can't. Alright, let's plug it in. I guess we should get into achievement earlier too, for the Gregory one. Got the road less naked or something. Oh. The circus up. This music is pretty.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
There were a lot of paintings, but I don't remember being mentioned who did the painting. Was it her? Maybe it had to be her. Considering there are paintings for everyone's dead.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
I love this one.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
My house is just not left behind. Did he do that, or did someone run after?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
It's interesting that there's like no news clippings about an actual formal search or anything.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
I've seen tiny bits of this, yeah. It was this environment that I've seen parts of it. I wanted to try the window. Hang on. Back up. I feel like we're a long way again, but you know.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar.
Oh boy.
That part of him lived on.
Nope. I don't want to. Welcome back, Felicia. I am having trouble with doors. I just want to look around and want to go back out. Look around, see it now.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
I'm good at navigating a maze and
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
And also, this is like me with any sort of regular tasks, like dishes or something. I'm not really thinking about doing dishes.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis.
He's been inside, so he's more efficient.
So I let him go on.
Why not? Like, he's giving the capitalist. He's really good God, machine.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
I'm looking for secrets that this was an actual...
And songs for them to play.
Okay. I see an alleyway. There will be a time.
He talked about starting a band.
And then you got trouble with Alright, fine, I get it.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
Still trying to go with the pastors.
And one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for radiant rainbows.
I bet there's a cheap good for all of them. Okay, I already messed it up.
He followed the sound of his electric sitar.
Nope, come on back. You're getting all these notes. Nope, nope, come on. Crash. Dang it. No. Dang it. It's very hard to talk fish and control a ship at the same time.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oh, no. I can't cook the fish and...
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
I mean, he created the world, so kind of godlike when you create your own world.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
We can wait for you, Chantal. We can wait for you to get through the ad break.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Don't worry, Chantal, we got you. We can defeat this ad break. Like, I was not going to prolong Gregory. That was just bad. But I can't wait until your ad break is over, and then we can continue on. I haven't seen the end of this. Have I? Maybe I have. No, I think I have. I know what happens to him in the cannery. I don't know what happens to him in the palace. Just chopping, we're just hanging out, waiting for the ad break to stop protecting Chantal. Just so she can come back. There we go, she's back.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
I want to go to this. I want to go to this. Oh, I want to go to... Fine.
began to forget the world we know.
Well, it seems like he's back in the world we know. Strange. I don't know what else we're going to do for dinner. Probably not fish. This would be a bad chapter for Mel.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
I mean, that's fair. And this is your life, it's... Yeah. Oh, that's him.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
But you are him.
I still thought I could save him.
I meant to turn around and look for something, but...
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Where's his body? Oh, I'm not even... Oh, it's not fair, but...
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Where? Where's the logo with the bicycle? You can't tell me that there's a cat here and not show me the cat. That's worse than... Oh, over there! Oh, name's
waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
I thought he lost a hand. I did not realize...
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I really thought he just lost a hand. I guess maybe I hadn't seen the ending at all. Okay. Oh boy.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
Is that the whole tree? Is it just...
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Her mom and Edie now. I'm assuming my mother's dead.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
She lived with her mom here. After she died.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Keep going straight. I was going the right direction before.
I got turned around.
No, I didn't. I was going straight. I know we were on this rock because I was going straight. This is my best. Oh, hey.
For a while, I wandered.
No, I'm being strategic, not wandering.
I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends.
I don't know what that's like.
That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
I'm not sure what gone means to her.
We both tried to make the best of it.
Deliberately, or did she hurt? I feel like this is
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
So underneath the house is still standing. You know how to do it. That was really pretty. And sometimes not as pretty at parts. But it was good. I'm glad I did it. Thank you guys for joining me for it. Oh, wow. It is right about the amount of time that I expected that I was decided to stream today. Like, just 3 minutes short at this point. It says welcome to the chat room, so that's suggesting that I disconnected once there. We'll see. We'll see how many videos Twitch says it is. I should remember to record. But alas, it's been a while. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I don't know what I'll do next Friday. I can talk it over with people. Thanks, Johanna. Couples programmer, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm glad I played it. Have a great week. In case I don't see you beforehand. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop streaming, I think. Yeah. See you guys later.